Hello everyone, I hope everyone is well. Didn't realise we were live. I was looking at something else. Welcome to this week's hot seat. Now, if you don't know what the hot seat is, let's see if I can tag everyone in. We've not done one for a couple of 3 weeks, a proper one. But we're coming back with a bang. Yeah, I know, I've muted myself. Come back with a bang. So this week, I always do it. I say, I'm going to mute myself so you wouldn't hear me. Then people always wonder why they can't hear me when I mute them. And what we do on these, Graham, hope you're well, mate. Rosmin, hope you're well. What we do on these is we generally interview OLSP members, might be VIP members, might be someone having massive success at the minute. Okay, but tonight, what I decided to do was to bring on one of my favourite people to do with mindset. David, Ulf, Detlev, hope you're well. Hope you guys are having a fantastic evening. Salam, hope you're well as well. Now, I'll start by saying most people are in their own way, okay? Most people get in their own way. Most success comes from inside your mindset. So I don't know if you've met Sam before, but I'm going to bring Sam on now. This is the guy with the most books you will ever see. So what I want you to say inside the comments when I bring him on screen is, wow, look at the amount of books he's got. And he has read every single one. So I'm going to bring on Sam right now. Sam, how are you, mate?
Hey Wayne, I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So, Sam, before we start, so I'm going to hand it over to you tonight because I know how awesome all of your training and everything is. Tell the guys a little bit about yourself, a bit about your background and a bit about how awesome you are, and tell them you've actually read all those books.
Yes, I've read at least 90% of the books. So my background is in oil and gas, about 2 decades experience drilling oil and gas wells and doing IT in that space. And then about 13, 14 years ago, if you know the oil and gas business is very up and down, right? Oil prices go up, you have a job, they go down, you might get laid off. That's what got me into internet marketing. I decided I needed to have control of my own income, and I started looking for ways to do that. Like most of you guys, I spent the first 3 years getting no results. Well, I did get feedback that what I was doing wasn't working, right? And then I made I made $10
Ooh.
in 3 years. Just so you know that everybody goes through the same
They do.
process. And then I found a mentor, and he told me, look, if you could trust me for like 12 months and follow my process, you make money. And I started listening to him, and in the first 3 weeks of working with him, I made $1,000. And then after that, I just kept making money pretty consistently. And after about 3 months, he said to me, you know what, Sam, come start teaching people what you're doing. And I said, I'm new. And he said, yeah, but you're getting results and you're following instructions. Just come teach them. And that's how I got into coaching and began to show people like it's not so much about the strategy, which is good. It's about what goes on here, in terms of listening to instructions and following the proven process and having someone to guide you so you can actually get results. And I've been doing pretty good since then. And of course, I met Wayne and his awesome system. And now I kind of help people in the system get started, figure out a plan to implement, and start getting results like I did way back then. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome introduction, mate. And yes, I told everyone to comment, wow, look at all those books. And we've got lots of, wow, look at all those books coming through. So what I'm going to do, guys, okay, I want you guys to listen in. Sam doesn't need me asking him questions, okay. I want Sam to show you how well he knows his stuff. So, Sam, I'm actually going to make you front and centre. For now, I'll be here in the background listening in. But I'm going to make you,
Okay.
because I love everything you kind of say, always hang on to. This guy knows his stuff, guys. So I'm going to hand over to Sam. I'm going to let you take the floor, Sam. Any questions you got, let me know in the comments. And if there's an appropriate time, if it's all right, Sam, I can just butt in for a little bit. If
Yeah,
not, I
no
won't.
worries. That's
So,
fine.
Sam, you are now the only person on the screen now. And, woo,
Yay!
I should be in the background.
All right. Thanks, Wayne. All right, guys. So this is the Millionaire Mindset Huddle, like I like to call it, where we talk about and focus on the laws of the millionaire mind. In other words, what are the key principles that if you master, what is the way of thinking that if you build into yourself, pretty much guarantees you're going to get results. If you've been on any of my other lives, you've heard me say that if you copy the actions that people who are successful take, you will most likely get the same results or even better. And then one day I realized that, hang on, before you take actions, there's something that actually happens, and that is you need to think in a specific way. It is the way you think that determines the actions you take. So we need to take a step back and start thinking about how do people who are successful, how do they really think? And then if we can think like that, we'll actually take actions which may not be exactly the same as theirs, but will be similar in the sense that it will give us very similar results. So on this session, I call it a mental workout. All right. How do you do a workout? You stretch yourself. Okay. You stretch yourself. You ask yourself hard questions, and then you take time to think through the answers. The biggest challenge most of us have, unfortunately, is that very few people really take out time from their busy lives to pause, catch a breath, and ask themselves really tough questions and think through the answers. Because if you do on a regular basis, you will find that you're constantly making changes. So this is an opportunity for a lot of you to go through that process with me, asking those difficult questions that would help you get the results you want to create in your online business. And in fact, if you go through this process and you apply the same principle in your day job, you will find that you will also create results there as well. There is a saying, I can't attribute this to now, but there is a saying that once your mind has expanded to a certain level, it cannot return back to the exact way it was before. It just can't. I mean, it might shrink, but it will never go back to the exact way it was before. This session is designed to help with that process. All right. So we start with the 5 key questions I always bring up every time we get on. Yes, people say you repeat these questions, and I say, yes, I repeat them. And I'm going to keep repeating these 5 key questions because they can determine if you ask on a regular, as a basis, as a foundation, while you're building your business, you will find that you catch yourself drifting up every once in a while. You can bring yourself back on course. What are the 5 questions? Let's start from question number 5. If you have the premise in your mind, like your business is like a baby, if you have that thought in your mind, and you are like a parent, these 5 questions will help. The 5th question I always start with is this: have you started making decisions like the person you want to be? Or are you still making decisions like the person you no longer want to be? This person who is not getting the results you want, are you still making decisions like this person? Or have you started to making decisions like the person you really want to be? Because when you start thinking and making decisions like the person you want to be, that's when your transformation is going to start. Have you started taking responsibility for your problems? Using your personal power? Are you responding to them? Or are you blaming the government, the economy, your brother, your mother, your sister, your kids for the problems that you have? That's the 5th question. That's the first place you need to make that shift. Have you started making decisions like the person you want to be? Or are you still making decisions like the person you no longer want to be, who experiences the results you no longer want to get? Number 4, are you still working on your own? Are you still trying to do everything yourself? Or do you have someone who's holding you to a higher standard, who's holding you accountable because they know there is more in you and they want to help you bring that out, right? A lot of people feel like they would rather stuff out themselves, which, pardon me, is really dumb. I did that for 3 years. I told you. And in 3 weeks, like, it's amazing. Like, getting someone to work with me in 3 weeks, I achieved what I couldn't achieve in 3 years. So are you trying to do everything yourself, or have you decided and found someone who's going to hold you to a higher standard? Sometimes that higher standard, you cannot see it. Like, you just can't see it because your mind hasn't thought up to that level. And until someone comes into your space,
Oh, I think we lost Sam for a minute. We've lost Sam. Give it a second, and I'm sure he'll be back, guys. Give him a second. There we go.
hear me, Wayne?
Yeah, I couldn't, but you're back now, mate.
Are we back?
Yeah, you're back.
All right, good. All right. So I was saying that so there was a coach, like he went to a conference and he felt he was making very good money, really good money. And they asked him, all right, share your testimonial. What's your story? And he says to them, I am making $30,000 a month right now. And the host of the event says to him, oh, okay, that's amazing. Um, when are you going to start making the big money? And he was insulted. He was like, what? What did you say? The big money? 30 grand a month isn't big money. He was in the room. You have someone who holds you to a higher standard, you're going to feel like whatever you're doing is the best that is available. So that's number 4. Number 3, the third question to ask yourself is, have you figured out how you're going to fund your business and create an asset? Have you figured that out? Or are you still spending money on liabilities? Have you figured out how you're going to fund your business, or are you still spending money on liabilities? Are you building an asset or spending money on liability? Are you still buying the latest iPad, iPhone, whatever, when you could be investing that in building your business and let your business buy all that crap? Sorry, all that stuff for you, right? Number 2, have you prioritized 1 to 2 hours a day to work on your business, or are you still doing stuff randomly when you feel like it? Athletes have a specific time when they train so that they can become world class, and they stick to that. Have you set up a schedule for yourself? And then the last one, and this is the biggest one, I would say, have you decided to give yourself permission? Have you decided to give yourself permission to actually succeed, to create the future that you want? Right? Have you made that decision? Because many times we judge ourselves like we're not good enough, and we don't allow ourselves that freedom to expand and to grow. Data says that it takes about 3 to 7 years for you to get to for business to be successful. What we have here is an opportunity for you to actually shrink that time, make the learning curve a lot shorter, instead of spending 3 to 7 years trying to work and figure stuff out on your own. So have you decided on the future that you want? All right. And for you to actually get that future that you're looking for, there is going to be a need for you to make a commitment. And it's not a commitment to anybody else but yourself. It's a commitment to excellence. Remember how I talked about the fact that when your mind has been expanded to a certain level, you cannot bring it back to where it was before, right? Dreaming big dreams are like that. Dreaming big dreams, setting big goals, it is the starting point of being more than you've ever been before. Dreaming big dreams and setting big goals. Has it ever occurred to you that it's free to dream big dreams, right? Doesn't cost you anything. So if that's the case, why do you feel anxious when you start dreaming big dreams? It's because your mind is here. It's here. When you start dreaming big dreams, like you start growing this out and you practice doing that, it's free. In case nobody ever told you, here is the secret. Dreaming big dreams is free. It costs you nothing. Nobody's going to lose out just because you dreamt a big dream. It's totally free. It's yours. Your mind is yours. If you dream big dreams and you keep doing that consistently, what's going to happen is you will find it very difficult after a while to think small anymore. It'll be very difficult for you to do that. And once you start to experience that, that is when you show yourself that you're making a commitment to excellence. So how effectively do you feel right now that you're doing the things that you feel are important that will allow this big dream you have to come true? Because the way you feel, or the level to which you feel you're effective, it determines how you see yourself. I've shared this before on another call where I talked about the concept of self-image, and we'll talk more about this. But the more you see yourself with value, the more you see yourself as being important, the more you allow yourself to succeed. When you make a decisive commitment to excellence, it is one of the most powerful ways that you can create change for yourself. All right? If you look at any industry, the highest rewards go to those people who have committed to excellence. We know it. The Olympics just ended, right? What were you doing? You're watching world-class people perform. Imagine, you guys probably saw the person from Australia. Sorry, all these, I just have to say this. The person from Australia who went to do the breakdance stuff. It was a big turn off. Why? They were not excellent. They weren't excellent, right? Excellence attracts superior rewards. You remember the lady that I think she's is it a gymnast now, right? The gymnast now, like you could see the rewards they got because of the top level of performance that they had. The tiny lady, I think, they won the sprint, set a record, beat Jamaica. That is excellent, and there's a reward for that. These people are in the top 20%, following Pareto's principle, because the top 20% get 80% of the reward in any industry, right? Because of the commitment they've made. Then you have the 20% of that 20%, which is the top 4%. These are people who have made that commitment, that they want to be excellent at what they do. So for you, here is a question. What would happen if you joined them? If you made a commitment to transition as well to excellence, what would happen in your life? People that are achievers, they always conduct themselves as the elite in their field. Like they set high goals, they work consistently to beat those goals. If you see someone who's committed to excellence, if he sets a goal, let's say he says, I want to make 50K a month, you will find that in their mind, that goal is a minimum. In other words, if they say I want to make 50K extra this year, if they make that money by the end of quarter one, they will not stop. They'll say, all right, awesome. That means the goal was too small. I'm going to make more. Most people who are mediocre, once they hit the 50K goal, they will like, oh, awesome, I achieved my goal. That's it for the year. The people who commit to excellence, the goals they set for themselves are at least the goal. I'm going to make at least this. I'm going to achieve at least this. They do not set a limit on the maximum that they can achieve, but they set a minimum. This is the standard, right? And your self-image, what you see yourself, the value you place on yourself, is based on, like, this is your self-ideal, right? This is what you're currently doing. The bigger the gap, the poorer your self-image is going to be, and it's going to affect your drive for excellence. The more you close this gap up, the more you like yourself, the more you want to do stuff. The more you value yourself, the more things you allow yourself to work on. Because you go like, I'm awesome at this. I'm awesome at this. I wonder what else I'm really good at. That's the thought that goes through your head, right? Because you're closing this gap. Your self-ideal is up here. This is where you are currently, and you're working, building up that excellence so that you can close up that gap. And because you're doing that, you feel good about yourself. What happens when you feel good? You really drive into get things done. You are more open to new ideas, to new opportunities. You're more open to taking chances and trying new stuff because you realize that I'm actually quite good. But if you see the gap widening because you're not committed to excellence, you will talk yourself out of doing a lot of good stuff that you could have achieved. So you want to resolve to make the investment and overcome any obstacle to achieve the level of excellence that you need to get to your goals. So most people don't think about personal excellence. Most people don't. And if they ever do, if it ever crosses their mind, they just dismiss it very quickly, right? This makes it easier for those who commit to achieving excellence to actually get there, right? It's like it's a very small difference in ability that leads to a huge difference in results. It's like the story about sending a rocket to the moon. If the rocket is just off course a little bit, just a tiny bit, as it goes further and further, the greater the distance it travels, the more the deviation you're going to see from the main path, and it's not going to end up at the moon. This is what happens when you decide this is your normal life. You decide to improve yourself a little bit. You're going to deviate from your normal path just a little bit. And then you find yourself totally heading to a different destination instead of the destination of failure, just by that small commitment. What this means is that the people who are in the top 20%, they aren't massively better than those who are not. They're just a little, just a little bit like this little bit better, just a tiny bit better. Typically, it's about 3%. And the way to have that small deviation is just to do a little bit extra, just a little bit extra. The way to do that is by focusing on the things that you have control of, the key result areas, and I call them lead indicators. These are the actions that you can control and you can measure. All right. Key result areas are like they're like key skills or key actions that if you take them, they will produce a desired outcome over time. So, for example, if someone is talking to 10,000 people every month, and then somebody else is talking to only 100 people every month, even if the first person is crappy at sales, who's going to get more leads? Who's going to make more sales? The guy who talks to 10,000 people, all things being equal. The connection with 10,000 people, that outreach, that is the key result area. That is a lead indicator. The sales, the revenue that comes from it is a lag indicator. It comes as a result. Lag indicators are results, lead indicators are actions, right? Key result areas are actions that you take that will create a result. A lot of times people focus more on, I want to make $10,000 a month. I want to do that. I want. And I always tell them, what are your key result areas? What do you need to focus on doing, even at work? Like, what are the major things that if you did them, it'll move the needle of your results? If you're not sure what those are, you can ask people who are already achieving the results. And once you know what those areas are, you can work to improve them. So, for example, if you look at an online business, the key result areas would be things like finding new people, which you call prospecting, looking for gold, connecting with those people, finding out the problems they have, connecting their problems to the solution that you have here, resolving any concerns that they might have, getting them to agree, and then getting them, once they've agreed and joined your program, getting them to refer other people to your program. Those are kind of the key result areas in an online business, right? You should be at least an 8 over 10 in each of those areas for you to get good, consistent results with your business. At least an 8 over 10. That is a commitment to excellence. So here is a question for you. Have you set standards of performance in all the key result areas in your business? Or let's even say at work, have you set those standards for yourself? A standard could be something as simple as, I will connect with 10 people, 20 people, 30 people today, every day. The result isn't what I'm looking for. I'm just going to connect with people. We had a guy back in uni. He had the highest number of girlfriends on campus. It was ridiculous. And when people asked him, how come, and this is the weird part, many of these girls knew themselves. But it's like the more they knew this guy had so many girlfriends, the more girls wanted to go out with him. It was very weird, very unethical in my opinion. But anyway, that's me. But he just kept having more and more. And when we asked, like, well, how do you do this? He says, I have a specific number of girls I must talk to every day. It's 10 or 20 girls every single day. He's not looking for them to say yes or no. He's only looking to connect with them because he knows if he connects, eventually some will definitely say yes. Yeah, some will definitely say yes. That was his mindset. For him, the key result area was connecting with as many people as possible every single day. So for you, if you look at your key result areas, the key actions you should be taking every day, where are you the weakest? Like, what part of it is the lowest for you? Is it reaching out to people? Is it connecting with people? If you find that area, that's the one you want to focus on first to start improving. It's like, think about yourself as a business, right? A business will always look at what area are we doing the worst in, and then focus on improving that area. That's the way you should work, okay? You want to accept responsibility for everything your business is producing now, and then decide what you want instead, because you're the CEO. You are in charge. Like, your goal is to increase the amount of output, the results you have, by working on the input. For every input that you put into your business, you want to make sure that you get a good output. So ask yourself the question, what are the resources and activities that are currently running in your business? Your time, your funds, your skills. What are they? Excuse me. And then ask yourself, are these resources being optimized and maximized? Are you getting the maximum return on all your assets or your energy you're investing in work? Are you getting the return as fast as you possibly could? Because it's pointless if you're going to make $100,000 and you make it in 100 years. That's a total waste of time. So are you getting the result as fast as you possibly could? And then what would it take to double your result in the next 12 months, leveraging your current assets? Do you need additional assets to double your results? As a business person, ask yourself, like, what is unique about me? What's my fingerprint? What is my unique selling point? It may be something that seems insignificant and you take for granted because it comes easy to use. For example, like when we was talking about, I love reading. Like I really love reading and learning. If you leave me at home for a week with my books and training videos, I may not step out of the house. This is my superpower, and it is ridiculously fun for me. A lot of people hate reading. But because I love reading, I learn skills, and now I'm in a position where I can coach people. So for you, figure out what is your unique advantage and how is that going to help you get results faster, grow faster. You need to start treating yourself as a long-term project. Like I'm working on myself. I'm looking at my key KRAs, my key result areas, my lead indicators. I'm working on them. One of the biggest things you can do to shift things for yourself is to say something like this. Say, if I could blank really well, I would have all the money I wanted. And then ask yourself, what was blank for you? If I could blank, if I could do this really well, I would have all the money I wanted. It's a tough question, right? So ask yourself, what would it be? What's that one thing that if I could do really well, it would move the scale and help me achieve the results I really wanted. It would make the most positive impact. If a genie came up to you and said it would grant you any skill you wanted, not money, like money is useless or not useless. Money, it's not the focus. People get it wrong. You need a skill because if you have the skill, you can always reproduce the income. So if a genie came up to you and said they're going to grant you a wish of any skill you wanted, what skill would you want to be granted? If you know what that is going to be your key result area for you to focus on, say over the next 90 days. And then once you make that decision to pursue excellence and to build that key result area, you're now on the line to the top 4%. Everybody starts at the bottom. You just work your way up. All right. So a quick overview again. If you commit to excellence, what are the questions you want to ask yourself to ascend, right? To go from here to your ideal self. What are the questions? What am I great at? Based on the current trends, what will I need to be great at in the next 3 to 5 years? Because things are changing really fast. What should be my unique selling advantage? If you don't know what that is, ask a friend, ask your boss to help clarify for you. Once you know this, start training yourself along these lines on a daily basis. Create personal transformation time. This is one of the exercises I do with people when they come on their business coaching or business planning call, when they sign up as mega builders or team builder. We actually go through a process and design a plan for you to execute over the next 90 days, 120 days, so they can start moving towards your results. Okay? Awesome. I hope you got some value from that. So based on what we've covered today, I want you to think, like, what appeals to you the most? What really appeals to you the most? For me, like when I was going through it, kind of making this ready for you guys, what really struck me was, what could I really be excellent at that if I did would have the greatest impact in my life? It's a question I keep asking myself over and over again. So based on what we've covered today, what appeals to you the most? Is it being able to create extra income? Is it having more free time? Or is it both? You can have both. It's not mutually exclusive. So given the opportunity to benefit from both later or sooner, would you choose later or would you choose sooner? When you DM me or comment a Millionaire Mind, I'll show you how to save 6 months of your life and recover what potentially lost income would have gone away during that time. Okay? All right, guys, it's been great sharing with you. Hope you got some value from that. And if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. I'll get to them and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Hey, Sam. Bye-bye. Thanks, guys. Now, hopefully you can see. I think Sam's gone. Why we love Sam, guys. Okay, he's paused, so he has gone. Why we love Sam with that awesome outlook and that awesome mindset training. So if you have any questions for Sam, post them in the comments. He will get back to you, guys. Okay, he will get back to you. The mind is everything. It's the most powerful tool we've actually got. Okay, so with that, guys, hope you enjoyed it and take care. And I'll see you all soon. Thanks, Sam. He's just gone. That's it, guys. Bye, bye.